Hello guys, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network, and we continue to take a look on what is happening in the nation Zimbabwe without fear, without favor. And at this point in time, we are taking a look onto this report from the Newswalks. You know, as much as Tim Lacoste may want to extend its term of office from 2030, zvakadaro, the military is now in full control of the succession agenda. It might seem as if they are not. It's because of the political terrain we are navigating. But at this point in time, let us understand the important issues from this report from Newswalks. Newswalks is one of the most connected news sites in Zimbabwe in terms of sources about deep political secrets. So, as President Mnangaga battles to extend his term of office beyond his 2028 second term constitutional limit, despite his feeble and ionic public denials claim to be a constitutionalist, the stumbling block is the military. He knows about this. He's aware about this. Tim Lacoste is about this. If you go to the military, it is the traditional military powered broker. And this is something very important at this point in time to note. So, if you take a look onto this war issue, whatever Emmerson Mnangagwa is going to plan is going to be blocked constitutionally by the military, because he cannot go beyond, which means if they say whatever you are planning is wrong and cannot happen, then there is nothing he can do, or there's no way he can fix that. So this is the reality. This is what is happening, and this is what is going to happen. He is going to be blocked from making any constitutional changes to extend his stay in office. If he manages to extend, he is not going to be able to benefit from that, because this attempt to make extensions is going to be the basis of his rejection. Remember, this issue of power, guys, the most difficult thing is to fight when the people you rely on in terms of protection, when they have their own people who want that thing. The military in Zimbabwe feel that they have been excluded from the power matrix. Compare them with the military officials or officers in other countries, for example, South Africa, Zambia, in terms of the benefits. You know, our own military men cannot be compared. That is the reality of things. So if you take a look onto all those issues, you'd see that Mnangagwa is the last person they would want to continue being in power. So what is going to be tried, or what is being tried, is to dilute. They are trying to make a dilution of what is there. But that is not going to work. It is going to be a temporary measure. This dilution process we are seeing is going to be a temporary measure by the Tim Lacoste, but it's not going to be a permanent thing, which means whatever succession battle they are going to fight is going to be lost by this team. They can't do anything. Remember that Constantino Chiwenga is very strategic, very powerful, and without him, Emmerson Mnangagwa fled to South Africa in 2017. He had to only return after his safety was guaranteed by Constantino. So you can actually see that it's now difficult, because in as much as the comrades within the military, they have their preferred candidate or successor, it's very difficult for Emmerson to navigate and push and maneuver through. In my own view, this succession thing is not going to involve Chiwenga. It's going to involve another person. Why? It's because they feel that Chiwenga Pachake has failed to protect his comrades. He has failed to confront the system and make sure that they protect one of their own. Which means this war issue is going to have very, very, very different faces. This is my own view. So you can never be a military leader without the support of the military. It's like you have your dogs. You rely on those dogs to run after wild animals for you. When they catch, that is when you arrive. Which means they can make a decision not to run after that thing you are hunting. Or they can decide to run, catch, and not share with you. So this is something, this is the reality. I have seen ZANU PF people celebrating Tawina, this and that. To be honest with you guys, the people who are making headlines, these are not structures kuma provinces. This is the honest truth I'm telling you. These are people, my editors, who are simply being used because of the protection which they enjoy at this point in time. They are used to write certain narratives and certain stories. And because we are dealing with a different team which does not rush its own processes, who want to be very, very careful and does not want to scatter things around, you'd see that they are given a long rope. But they've made so many mistakes. This is the reason why you've seen people like Vanatino, they've deviated, they've moved away from the slogan 2030. Because no succession, this and that. So this is a very honest issue. Who are making noise about some people wakatanga 2017 kuite. These are hired guns, people who have been hired by a certain team to do their bidding or to fulfill a certain mandate on their behalf. So this is something which can't be relied upon, because anytime dakwa, anytime vaniva vavo vanobudam game. So guys, when it comes to the issues of succession, where does Nelson Chamisa stand? He is standing there neutrally, waiting for the right time to strike. I have said the struggle in Zimbabwe, a revolution which is going to happen in Zimbabwe, will not happen without Advocate Nelson Chamisa. It will never. And anybody who wants to be successful, it means they will need to put aside their personal interests. They put the national interests ahead. What it means is consultation, broad consultations will happen. But in my own view, power is not going to be given up easily and cheaply. It's going to be a very, very, very difficult moment, because some people will try to do unconstitutional things which are going to be resisted. That resistance is going to escalate. It's different from what happened during the Robert Mugabe era. It's different to what is going to happen. This is going to be a very different ballgame altogether. Resistance is going to be there. And that resistance, the only person who can end that resistance is Nelson Chamisa. Because he commands the people. He commands the masses. So the moment Nelson Chamisa tells the masses to join a revolution, it becomes an issue of interest to other countries, United Nations, etc. Once United Nations intervenes, then a dialogue shall be forced. And that is the dialogue which is going to put conditions for everything to happen. So, you know, these things, they are very difficult to understand, but this is the direction we are taking. This is the direction we are taking. You know, I know that a lot of people have become impatient. A lot of people view this as defeat, but it's not defeat. Go to the rural areas. You understand what we're talking about. A lot of people are asking questions. Why is it that we didn't see this coming? These are the questions they are asking. And we are telling them, we were here telling you, kuti voterai shanduko. But what did you do? You helped ZANU PF rig the elections. And they are regretting. Which means if you have masses against you in the urban areas and also in the rural areas, then you are in trouble. Then there is another problem. South Africa is becoming a thorn in Mnangagwa's flesh. If 1 million deportations being planned, if they happen, these are adults we are talking about. Imagine 1 million adults being added into Zimbabwe randomly, unexpectedly. What does that mean? It means pressure to the health services, pressure to the jobs, pressure to transport, pressure to accommodation, pressure everywhere. And it becomes a problem to the team Lacoste. And most of these people will be people who have seen the bad things about ZANU PF, who have experienced bad life out of Zimbabwe. Which means even if they are going to settle in the rural areas, they are going to influence others. So ZANU PF didn't see this coming. No matter how they are going to try to outmaneuver NC, this time around they are not going to win. Because Avanape Kumbatira is quiet. And, you know, he's not going to areas they want him to go. Which means in terms of assassination, they have limited opportunities. In terms of arresting him, they have limited opportunities. In terms of whatever they may think of, they have failed even to intercept his cause. They have tried and they have failed to even intercept his cause. When you see a system fail to intercept the cause of an opposition leader, what does that mean? What does that imply? That is something very critical happening. So, you know, this is the reason why you see these people, they are panicking and they've started to say, at now, but 20-30 people will live for others. They are trying to make people relax, but they will not relax because they have internal information about what is happening. Imagine you are dealing with an opponent, but that opponent has people within you. And some of these opponents, 2030 mdara. And you are having meetings with them at farms everywhere. It becomes a problem. So whatever which is going to happen, the military is now fully in charge, he has taken full control of the activities in Zimbabwe when it comes to the issues of succession. Which means 2030 hakuna. 2030 vanoionera kuhope, nyangwe vakatisunga, vakaturaya, vakatidii. 2030 hakuna. No matter how they are going to deal with this issue, the 2030 chafa. The only thing Mnangagwa should do is to make sure if Mnangagwa wants to save his face, he must bring Nelson Chamisa on board to the talking table to negotiate. He must bring him on board to negotiate and meet the demands of Advocate Nelson Chamisa, which are to have a free, fair, credible election. If he fails to do that, he has created a case for his family, which is going to make them be in exile. Chero isu tikasungwa, chero tikafa, they will never live in peace here in Zimbabwe. That is a fact. So the military is clear. They are clear. He has to save, he has to go. And when they say he has to save, he has to go, remember, they are talking about this issue of succession seriously. That they are taking it seriously. Zokuti anza achasvika 2028, that is not the issue. They want things to be done way before 2028. They want things to be clear now, which means the decisions should be made, and ED is going to make very, very grave mistakes very soon. Because and those people do not mean anything good to him. Because revenge. So this is the team Zimbabwe. Change will come to the nation of Zimbabwe. A lot of people are asking how. But, you know, the way ZANU PF is going to fall is going to be very, very, very dramatic and interesting to some people. You see it with your own eyes. Change will come to the nation of Zimbabwe, no doubt about it. So this is what we have, and I agree with Team News Works right here that you know, the succession issue is no longer in Mnangagwa's control. No matter how you would try to abuse the systems, they are going to let him tie himself. And he's going to die a miserable man if he continue in this path. So this is it. Let us meet in other episodes as well as other broadcasts.